All right. Probably shouldn't be making this video. What I probably should be doing right now is giving you some tips and some encouragement to do something healthy with all this free time that you're having at home right now. But I mean, let's be honest. Most of us are gonna be, or a lot of us, I should say, are gonna be spending some serious time, you know, binge watching TV, watching YouTube, all that stuff. So I figured, why not make a little video just to help you out and give you some ideas of what to watch on Netflix while you're stuck at home in self-quarantine, self-isolation, all that stuff. So before we begin, let me just start off by saying, if this is your first time to my channel, watching one of my videos, my name is Michael. Oh, hello. My name is Michael, and I am a videographer and a photographer, and I am making this video from the perspective of somebody who just really enjoys cinematography and creative storytelling, and I look for things in movies and TV shows more than just from an entertainment factor. You know, I pay attention to things that maybe not everybody pays attention to. So if you come, if you're watching this video as from somebody who has a similar personality as me, I think you'll really enjoy these recommendations. And so what I'm going to talk about is not necessarily just the overall 5 best shows and movies to watch on Netflix, but what are the 5 you know, most cinematic shows and movies. I don't know if I'm going to call it that yet, but coming from a videographer's perspective. And so I'm going to not only give you the show or the movie, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it, what I enjoy about it from a cinematography perspective, and maybe talk about the different cameras that were used to film each show and movie. So anyways, with all that out of the way, let's jump right in. And my first recommendation for you to watch is Riverdale. Now, I have to admit, Riverdale is a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. It's something like The Outsiders meets Bates Motel meets Gossip Girl, all combined into one somehow. And this here, let me read off my notes here. So this series was shot on 2 main cameras, which were the Arri Alexa Plus and the Arri Alexa Mini. And then there were kind of random inserts from actually the Sony a6300 at times. I think they said something like if they needed a camera to attach to a car, or, you know, just kind of random weird scenes like that, they would actually use, believe it or not, an a6300. One of my favorite things about this show, and something that you'll notice right away, and that was that fog or haze was used in basically every single scene in this show, whether it be outside or inside, didn't matter. And that haze really added a cool effect, really made the entire show just feel kind of dreamy and had a retro vibe to it with some of the other colors that they were using. And so anyways, I've never seen a show or a movie do that before, but literally every single time I watched and tried to notice, I always found there's haze in every scene. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think you're gonna really enjoy binging this show, because for me at least, kind of a general rule of thumb when it comes for me to commit to a show especially, is that I want to be captivated by the first episode. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I think I don't know anything about this show. You have 1 episode to get me interested and engaged, and Riverdale, they did just that. So I think you'll really enjoy watching this one. All right, my next recommendation for you to watch is actually a movie, and that is The Place Between the Pines. Now, as of right now, this is my favorite movie to watch. I love everything about this movie, from the way it's filmed, to the acting, to the story. Every single thing about it I am in love with. Now this movie, this was actually shot on film, which is really cool. So this, I don't know a lot about film, so this is what the information is that I was able to find, is that it was shot on the Arri Cam Lite, the Arri Cam Studio, and the Arri Flex, all on 35mm Kodak film. The film has a really just gritty and raw feel and look to it, which I super enjoy. This has such a great cast of actors too. So it has Ryan Gosling, Hey, it has Eva Mendes, Bradley Cooper, Mahershala Ali, Ben Mendelsohn, and several others, as a matter of fact. And honestly, this movie just has everything that I personally like and enjoy watching. It's got bank robbery, it's got it's got corrupt and crooked cops. As I said, it's got Ryan Gosling. So honestly, this movie is a must watch. It's really strange though. It almost feels like it has like two separate movies put into one, but they do intertwine. I'm not going to give too much away, but trust me, watch this. You will not regret it. My next movie recommendation is The Hateful Eight, and of course, gotta throw a Quentin Tarantino movie in this list. And for me, this is one that really stands out to me as of recently, and for several reasons. Now, let me go over some of the camera notes from this one. So, this was also shot on film, 65mm Kodak Vision 3. For anybody who knows film, sure that means something. To me, doesn't mean a whole lot other than it's shot on film. Now, the cool thing is that this was used, classic Panavision lenses were used to shoot this film. And so it gave a very unique and vintage look to it. And something else interesting to note is that this was shot apparently on the widest aspect ratio possible. Again, I may just be saying things that make me look stupid here, but this is what I found, is that it was shot on a 2.76 to 1 ratio, which apparently, I don't know, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but apparently this was, this allowed for a really, really wide angle. And so another really interesting thing about this, and I just love the whole story behind it, is that for the majority of the movie, if you haven't seen it, takes place in one scene, like one setting. Obviously, there's a bunch of other scenes, but for the most part, the majority of the movie all takes place in this cabin. And because of the wide angle lenses that were used, a lot of the actual like scene of the house, of the cabin, was actually able to fit in frame. So not only do you have interesting things happening in the foreground, the subjects, what's in focus, but you have a lot of just kind of intricacies and different things that Quentin Tarantino put in the background that are just as fascinating to watch. And if you enjoy good storytelling, this is one of the better stories that I've watched in a long time. And not to give anything away, but the ending of it is just like so amazing, such just a great payoff for the time spent watching it. So again, can't recommend this one enough. The next recommendation that I have for you is Last Chance U. Now, this is obviously not a new show, and the storyline behind it is about football. And so you may not have watched it because maybe you're not into sports, but let me tell you, even if you're not into football or sports, you will love watching this. If you like documentaries, then this is the show for you. I can't really remember a show quite like this one where honestly, I could have just watched it from beginning to end nonstop, which I didn't, but I easily could have, because the storylines behind it are so captivating and so interesting. You really start to follow certain players and certain personalities, and my gosh, man, just some of the stories, you feel like they're made up, but it's real. This is like as real as it gets. And some interesting facts about how it was shot. This was shot on all Sony. Hey, so I already like it. It was primarily shot on the FS5 and here and there with the FS7. And what was also super cool is that occasionally, again, kind of for some of the more tricky, difficult shots, I guess you could say, sometimes were shot with actually an A7S. So that was really cool. And it said I don't know if it was the lead cinematographer, I'm not sure, but the person who basically decided, I guess it was the DP, but the person who decided what cameras and lenses to use said that he chose to go with the FS5 primarily because of, mostly due to the fact that it has a global shutter. Now, if you're not familiar with what that means, basically it's the opposite of a rolling shutter. And that would be super important because in really fast kind of live action sports, having a rolling shutter would be the absolute worst thing possible. So I guess that's why they said they chose to go with the FS5. And yeah, man, honestly, this show is so stinking good. I love the way it's filmed. I love just the intimacy that you get with some of these players and some of the different individuals and different characters that they decided to highlight. And the cool thing also is that the first 2 seasons are primarily based around one school, and then the third and fourth season completely shift and go to an entirely different school with new people, new players, coaches. If you get bored with it after the second season, which I don't think you would, you have the third and fourth season to look forward to as well. And oftentimes you'll see shows get worse with time. This show gets just somehow better and crazier and more ridiculous in the third and fourth season. So yeah, Last Chance U. And the last one, this was kind of a dark horse nominee or recommendation that I didn't think of instantly, but after kind of going through my recently watch, man, this one's amazing. So it's called The End of the World. I'm just kidding, I didn't cuss. It's actually effing, like the end of the effing world. So anyways, that is the title. And this one was shot in the Red Weapon 8K. Now, the really interesting fact that I found on this is that they shot this entire series in either 7K or 8K RAW. That is like, dude, that is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous amount of storage that you would need for all that, which kind of makes sense though, why the episodes were so short. So I think each episode is between 20 to 25 minutes, which makes it a really easy watch, and you can absolutely binge the entire season in one day, no problem whatsoever. But yeah, this was the only show or movie that I recommended here in the list that was shot on red cameras. So that's kind of cool. And I don't know, for me, the image that comes out of from the show just looks so dang sharp and clean and crisp, and obviously that makes sense because they're shooting in either 7 or 8K the entire time. The show has a very chilling but kind of funny and humorous theme to it, and at first you'll be like, what the heck am I watching? But like I said, after probably the first, oops, again, gosh, I keep hitting this mic, but after the first 20 minutes of the first episode, I promise you'll be hooked right away, and you'll have no idea what the next episode is gonna have. And so this was definitely one of my favorite shows and series that I've watched in a long time as well. But anyways, yeah, that is the list that I have for you. I hope everyone's doing just okay and hanging in there, stuck at home. I thankfully still get to go to work, so I'm not self-quarantined yet. But anyways, if you are and you have no idea what to watch, hopefully you enjoy some of these recommendations. If you end up watching some of them and you have any feedback, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think, your opinions on it, and all that fun stuff. So anyways, thank you all for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.